everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to take a look at the Art & Fly 72 set of premium oil-based colored pencils. Art & Fly was kind enough to send these to me so that I could share them with all of you. So as with most all of my colored pencil reviews, we are going to unbox them, we are going to take a look at them, we're going to see what colors are included, then I will go ahead and swatch them out. We are also going to do a blend test and play with the pencils just a little bit so that we could get a feel for the quality of these colored pencils. If you would like to see this, please do stay tuned. If you check the description box below, you'll find links down there for my Facebook group. I would love for y'all to join us over there. It is a community of about 6,000 people, and they are all wonderful and extremely supportive. You will also find links down there for my Etsy store as well as my email list, and I'm also now teaching private coloring classes. If you're interested in taking some classes with me, I would love to meet you. Let's go ahead and get into this unboxing and review. So I've only taken these out of the Amazon box, and so we're going to go ahead and take off the bubble wrapper. They make it really convenient because you could just lift it up over here on the corner to open them up, and then they open as easy as that. I love these bubble wrappers. I could sit here and pop these things all day. Am I the only one that's like that? Anytime I get anything in the mail and it comes in one of these, I'm just like, a bubble wrapper. And I will literally just sit there and pop them. And then of course my kids try to steal them, but you know, that's just not happening. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. So it says Art & Fly here. It gives you their website, 72 set of premium oil-based colored pencils. So these are oil-based, smooth, vibrant, and easy to blend. Let's turn this over and take a look at the other side. And let's see what it says here. So oil-based colored pencils, and then these vibrant creamy color pencils with thick cores blend and layer beautifully. We are going to find out. The Art & Fly oil-based colored pencils break less easily, allow more layers because of the absence of wax bloom, and hold a sharper point. We are also going to find that out. So we're going to play with these a little bit today, and we are going to see. Want a free art tutorial? Simply scan the code through your Facebook Messenger app. Well, that's kind of cool. So you just scan that and you can, I guess it will take you to a video where you can see a free art lesson. Let's go ahead and open up the tin. Okay, so if we look at the inside of the tin, up here at the top, we've got all the color names. I may swatch these out today because I really want to see the range of colors. If they're in here, just like they are up here, then it will make it pretty easy for me to go ahead and swatch them out. And it looks as though they actually may be, because up here it starts with the white and then goes to the yellow, and then if we come down here we've got white, and then we have number 2, the yellow. Okay, so they are actually in order as far as numbers on the inside here of this tin, and it looks like they are in pretty good color family order. So I probably will go ahead and swatch these today because it looks like they are in here in exact number order, and it looks like they do have the color names on them. So let's go ahead and take a look at the pencils. It looks like a couple of the leads may have just fallen off in transit. Let's take a look at the second one. No, they all look like they're pretty good. It looks like maybe just this orange one, the tip of it may have come off over here, but that's okay. So these are the pencils. They've got this, what is that, like a dark brown type of barrel, and then the little silver ring here at the top with the color dipped tip. So of course this one is white, and you can see that you've got the color name right here. So it says white, and then down here we have the number, and I really like that. So as I said earlier, it looks like they are actually in number order, but the number order is color order as well. So that is really neat because I've not seen that before. So this one is 1, and then of course they're going to be all in here, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 72. And if that is the actual case, then I think I am going to go ahead and swatch these. But it says Art & Fly right there on the pencil. It is written here in silver up against this beautiful dark brown barrel. So who else is getting all kinds of Derwent vibes? the color of the barrel, and then the color dipped tip. It reminds me of Derwent's colored pencils and how they come. Which ones are those? I think they're Derwent Color Soft. They look very much like that, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. But they come in the tin like this. Of course, like with most of your budget-friendly pencils, you're going to get these two little things here on the trays to be able to lift them up and out. So you can see that you've got the same on the second one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the colors as they lay in the tin. So I'm going to bring these a little bit closer to the camera so y'all can see. Hopefully I don't drop them all on the ground. That'll be a nightmare. Then I won't be able to swatch them, or it will make it a huge chore. Okay, so we're starting with white, and then we move into our yellows. And then we've got here what looks like a very brownish yellow, I would guess, like a mustardy type color maybe, and then another yellow, and then this is the one that it looks like the lead broke off of, but that looks like a pretty peachy color. And of course, if you could see the tip on that one, it looks very different than the lead of the pencil. Of course, that is the case with most budget pencils, as we all know. So we go into our oranges, and then we've got some burnt oranges. It looks like we have a really pretty bright orangish red in here, and then a brownish red. And then we get into the more true reds as we start moving into the purpley pinks. And then we've got some pinks over here, and we're getting into a couple really purpley pinks right here as we move into a couple more lighter pinks, lighter, brighter pinks, I would say. And then we've got this really pretty purple color. And then more purples. There's quite a few purple. Well, let me see. How many purples do we have? 1, 2. Okay, so we don't get that many. We get 3 purples. And then we start moving into the blues. And some of these blues might have purple in them. Again, we'll see what happens once we swatch these. But if I look at the top of the case, it actually looks like we get quite a few purples. Lilac, lavender. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this Prussian blue even looks like it has purple in it. I don't know. We'll have to take a look at that, but you get at least 4 purples. So that's a good amount for a 72 set of budget pencils. That's a fairly good amount because a lot of sets don't have a whole lot of purples because, you know, when it comes to the true purples, of course, they tend to lean more towards the pinks and then more towards the blues. So here we have a very dark blue. It's called Royal Blue. And a beautiful bright blue. This one's called Sapphire. And then we've got our teals, and then we move into our greens, and then our bright, beautiful greens. We're getting into some much darker greens here, and I believe now we're getting into our more olivey greens. This one definitely looks more like an olive green, and then this one looks very bright and beautiful. And then this looks sort of like a creamy yellow color, and then a brighter yellow, and then some peachy tones. And these, I don't know, they look so, the tips look so different. If you look at this, you could see that they look so different than what you see on the tip of the pencil. But then we've got like our corally colors as we get into our browns. And then this is strange because that actually looks like an orange. So maybe, I don't know, I'm gonna have to swatch these out because I just don't know about this. I don't know about the color family order. So then we get into our browns. And then we've got a few grays, so it looks like 3 grays. So 1, 2, 3 grays, and then we have our black, which are calling that charcoal. But I would assume that it's black because I don't see another black pencil. But to me, I don't know, charcoal to me is not black. Charcoal is a very dark, dark, deep gray. So we will see. Let's go ahead and put these back in here. So let's go ahead and talk about pricing for these. So they come in this 72 set. They also come in a 48 set. So if you're interested in the 42 set, you are going to pay $29.97. If you're interested in the 48 set, you are looking at $18.97. And those are the prices right now on Amazon. I also noticed when looking at their store on Amazon that they also have a 24 portrait set. Now, I can't be sure as to whether or not the portrait set is a duplicate of the colors that may already come in the 72 set, but you could purchase a 24 portrait set of colored pencils for only $14.97 if you were interested in those. I have my Dahle 133 and we're going to go ahead and test these Art & Fly pencils in the Dahle 133 to see how they sharpen. So we're just going to go ahead and stick it in there. Okay, so the wood on these is actually pretty soft. And let's see if it stops automatically. It does. It stopped automatically where it should. And that is the lead that we got. And it's nice and sharp and beautiful. I can't wait to go ahead and play with these a little bit and see how they perform. That was a blue one. So let's go ahead and try another color and see if the wood is just as soft. Let's go ahead and try a pink one. This one is actually magenta, so a pinky purple. And we're gonna stick that one in here and we're gonna see how this one does. Okay, so yeah, these are really nice. It feels really soft and it's very easy to turn the pencil sharpener, and it gave me a nice sharp beautiful lead again, and the pencil sharpener released when it was done. So that's really cool, because I know when I put my Prismacolors in here, I have to actually stop it because a lot of times it does not stop on its own and it will sharpen a little bit too much, but that's okay because this thing has literally saved my Prismacolors. But as far as the lead on these, I guess when I do the blend test, I'll be able to tell, but the lead on these seems like it is actually a pretty hard lead. Oh, that's really hard. Like I'm putting some pretty good pressure on this point, and that lead is pretty sharp. And as far as how wide these are, I don't think I mentioned it earlier. I mentioned they had the color dip tips and told you a little bit about the pencils, but I'm gonna hold my Prismacolor right up against this and so we could see. But as far as their size, they're about the same as a Prismacolor. I'll show it to you this way and you can see, but they don't look any wider. As far as their round barrels, it doesn't look any wider at all. They look about the same to me. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these out. And as you all know, when I swatch my pencils or I test them or I do any kind of blend test or anything like that, I like to make sure that my leads are all nice and sharp. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do that really quick and sharpen all of my pencils. And then I will be back to film the rest of the video. So look at all these beautiful sharpened leads of the pencils. I always get so excited about nice beautiful sharp leads, but they all performed really nicely in the pencil sharpener, and like I said earlier, they are a pretty hard pencil, and so I do see them keeping a lead probably quite a bit longer than something like a Prismacolor when you're coloring in your coloring books. We're going to go ahead and swatch out this Art & Fly 72 set of colored pencils, and I have my swatch chart here. This swatch chart I created, it's actually available in my Etsy store if you would like to get one for yourself. It has the numbers and the names, so it's great for sets like this or like your Prismacolors or anything that has a number and a name. A lot of you that are beginners had requested that I also made one that had 2 vertical lines within each box, because if y'all have watched my previous videos, you know I like to do a gradient of color, dark, medium, and light, and I know a lot of you like to do the same. And to avoid having to create that gradient, a lot of you had requested that I made each one of these boxes with separations in them, or 3 spaces within that box, so you could do your dark, medium, and light. So I did that as well. It's also available in 120 swatch chart if you are interested in that one, but that one, since the boxes are smaller, I don't have the separation lines within those. It looks like, you know, your standard regular colored pencil swatch chart. So we are going to go ahead and swatch these out, and I'm going to do this set to music just because I feel like it would be faster that way. I still want to be able to do the blend test, but I want to be able to come back after I swatch out all the colors and show you all the different colors that are available in this set and give you my thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and start the swatching now. Okay, so I am done swatching out all of the colors, and so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the colors now. So I do want to say, if I was putting these into color family order, I would definitely not have any of these colors down here. That is just, if y'all know me, that is bothering me like there's no tomorrow. Because all of these colors here should be up in this area here. But aside from that, they seem to be in pretty good order. I will probably reorder them and then swatch them again so that they look like they are in better color family order. But there are some really pretty colors in this set, and we've got plenty of highlight colors. So if we look at this, we can see, y'all know how much I love my highlight colors. So if you look at this, you can see that we have this yellow here, which is just called yellow. That of course we can use as a highlight color. And we've got this butterscotch over here is really, really pretty. And let me see, what other color do I really, really love? So as far as highlights, this mint is beautiful. That looks sort of like a chartreuse or something in our Prismacolor set. And then we've got these really pretty pale colors. You could see, since I did the light, medium, and then dark, you could see on some of these that if you just went really lightly with them, they would make a beautiful highlight color, like this sunset right here. This is a gorgeous color. The melon is a beautiful color. The salmon is a gorgeous color. And then all three of these right here can all be used as highlight colors. So if you look at these, you can see in all of these colors here that I would probably use for highlight colors, you could see the difference in the values of the colors from light, medium, and dark, and you would just use less pressure or more pressure, and all three of these would be really, really beautiful for highlights on your coloring pages. The sepia color here, right here, that's another really, really beautiful color. So we've got quite a few yellows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this still looks a little bit yellow here. This has a lot of yellow in it. And then we're getting into our oranges and then our reds. And here we've got what we call brick, and that definitely looks like a brick red type color. That's really, really pretty. And then chili, that's a gorgeous red. And then of course we've got our true red. That's a really pretty true red. And then we've got crimson. The crimson and the true red, they look fairly close, but this one might be a little bit brighter. Might be. I don't know. I would have to put them right next to one another to really be able to figure that out. But then we've got pomegranate and mulberry, and this is a beautiful purple here. And let me see, how many purples do we have? So we have what looks to be a purple here. So we've got 1, and then this lavender 2, lilac 3, 4, and 5, because our indigo, or what they're calling indigo, this indigo looks very purpley. And then 6. That is actually quite a bit of purples for a set that only has 72 colors. And then we have a good amount of blues and really pretty shades of blue. This royal blue even looks like it still has some purple in it. That's really, really pretty. That could sort of lean either way. It looks like a very dark, I mean, it looks like royal blue, but it's a very dark, dark blue, and it looks like it is a little bit purpley to me. I know we all see color differently. And then we've got our teal colors. So we have 2 of those, and then the turquoise. And then we get into our greens. We've got these beautiful greens. This lime green and this Kelly green, they look very, very similar though. Malachite, that's a pretty green. Sea green, we're getting into our more olive greens. As far as the olivey greens, as we start to come into those, starting with the sea green and get into the emerald, these look like a little more of the mossy, more olivier greens. But we've got this emerald, this deep moss, and then Cape Verde, I think that says, forest green, and this artichoke is really, really pretty. That looks like a olivey gray green. That is so, so different from most anything that I've seen in any other set. I think I remember, I don't remember which set it is, but I think I remember there is one set that has a color very similar to this, what they're calling artichoke. But of course, in our Prismacolor set, we all know the artichoke looks nothing like that. So we've got this cadmium green and then fern. That's a beautiful color. And then of course this mint that I loved so much. Then we have a few more yellows here, and these are kind of yellow orangey. Our salmon color, melon, sunset, which is beautiful. All 3 of these are beautiful. And then this sandstone is a really pretty brown. That is so out of order. This carrot should at least be over here or up there with the oranges. So tawny, pecan, cedar. So we've got our browns here, and then we get into our grays. So it looks like we've got 3 grays here. So that's a good amount of grays for a 72 set. And then of course what they're calling charcoal, but that looks pretty dark to me. That swatch of the dark, heavy pressure of the charcoal, that looks pretty darn black. So the next thing we need to do is we need to do a blend test. So I'm going to grab a sheet of Spring Hill paper. That's even what I'm using here for my swatch chart. I always print my swatch charts on the 80-pound Spring Hill paper, just in case you're wondering. I always have the links down there for my favorite paper in the description box below. And they actually were just running a really great sale on this paper. I got an entire ream of paper for like $5.98 maybe, because you could do the subscribe and save even more. And I go through so much of this paper, so that was really cool that I was able to get it for so cheap. So let's go ahead and get into the blend test now. So we're going to go ahead and do the blend test. And I looked over my swatch chart here and I picked a couple color combinations. I'm going to do greens and then I'm going to do some oranges with the yellow, because I really want to be able to test these pencils out and see if I can blend 2 colors that are not from the same color family together. So for the first one, this one's going to be greens because I know so many of us love to color leaves. So I decided to go with the greens because there were a lot of choices for greens and I knew that I'd be able to put something together really pretty. So I've got emerald, which is 49, lime, and then mint. So if we look here, I've got the mint and then the emerald is over here. So mint, emerald, and what was the other one? Lime. So mint, emerald, and lime. So we're going to use those for our color combination for the first one. So the next one that I chose, like I said, I wanted to do some colors where we have to mix 2 different colors from 2 different color families together. So I went with orange and yellow. So I've got the carrot, which is down here, and then the salmon, which is also down here, and then I'm going to mix that with this Tuscan red that is right next to it. So I think those look really pretty together. So we're going to see how many layers we could get down onto the paper and how well these blend together. So let me go ahead and grab the first one, and I am going to, gosh, should I go? These are oil pencils and they lay down very much as though they are oil pencils. And when I was doing the swatching, they had a really nice lay down. And I didn't feel any scratchiness or anything in any of them. They really laid down very beautifully. So we're going to see how they blend together. So we've got, I'm trying to see, maybe I should go ahead and go dark. I'm going to start with dark and then we'll go to light. So I'm going to start with the emerald and I'm going to lay this one down first. And y'all know I always lose track when I'm laying my colors down and the layers. So y'all just have to count for me. So I've got my lime and then I have the mint. Look how pretty that is. So that was one layer. Now I'm going to come back the other direction and I'm going to lay a second layer. So let's just bring this down into where those 2 colors are transitioning. And I'm going to come back with my mid-tone and pull that down into its own space, into that highlight color. And I'm pulling up on the pressure of the pencil as I come into that lightest color, because there's a bit of a difference in value between these colors. And I'm laying down a second layer of that one. And they seem to be blending fine. So let's come back and lay a third layer. And I'm using pretty light pressure. As you can see, I'm holding my fingers pretty far back on the pencil not to use up all of the tooth of the paper quite yet. So that is the third layer of that one, and the third layer of this color, and then the third layer of my highlight color. So let's just come back and do this one more time. I still see quite a bit of the white of the paper. So I am doing the fourth layer, coming down into that mid-tone, and then the fourth layer of my mid-tone, and then we are going to come back with the fourth layer of the highlight color. Let's see, can we lay another layer down? We will find out. I'm using a little bit harder pressure now, and it looks like it's about, yeah, it's about done. So I've got what was that, the fifth layer. Okay, so we were able to get down about 5 layers with these. Actually, it's taking another one, so I could keep coming back. It's actually starting to fill a good amount of the white of the paper now with this 6th layer. And then we're gonna come back and do, yeah. So yeah, it's starting to burnish out and more of the white of the paper is filling or getting filled. And so we are on the 6th layer with our highlight. And the transition looks okay. So let's come back and can we add one more layer? These are pretty pigmented. Okay, so this is 7, and we're gonna come back with our highlight color. And yeah, that's about 7 layers. I could probably add maybe one more, but that looks pretty good. And you can see that the transitions between the colors, they blended together fairly nicely. I really like them. So let's go ahead and try our next color combination. And so we know that we could get at least 7 layers down on the paper with these. And again, this is the Spring Hill paper and they blended together beautifully. I could probably get another layer down here because I still see a little bit of the white of the paper, but that's a good amount of layers for a budget-friendly set of pencils. Okay, so let's go ahead and we are going to do the next one. So I've got my Carrot. And so I'm going to lay that one down. And with this one, we are gonna do a little bit of a challenge. And like I said earlier, we're gonna see if we can transition into, you know, from the orange into the yellow. So I'm laying my mid-tone down. And these are pretty close, these two colors, but you could still see a bit of a difference between them. So I'm laying my highlight color down and it looks good so far. Now let's come back and do another layer with the orange. Oh, Carrot. This one's called Carrot. So let's pull this down into the mid-tone. And then we are going to come back with the mid-tone color and pull that down into the yellow. I can't remember what that one was called. The Tuscan Sun. So we're coming back with the Tuscan Sun and doing another layer with that one. But these look really pretty together and they're blending together nicely. Okay, so now we're going to come back with the Carrot. And I'm using a little bit harder pressure because I'm not worried about, I just want to see how these will blend together. I'm not necessarily worried about counting the layers this time. So we're going to come back with the mid-tone and we are going to use a little harder pressure and come down into that yellow, or the Tuscan Sun. And then we are going to go over again with the Tuscan Sun. And those blended together really nicely. Okay, so the blend test was a success. I really like how they blended together. The transitions between the two colors are rather smooth. The pencils laid down really nicely, especially on this paper. I've not yet tried them in any coloring books, so if you would like to see me try these in a coloring book, please let me know in the comments down below. And everything that you've seen in this video, you will find in the description box below. These are a really nice set of pencils. They come with, let's go ahead and look at this one more time, but they come with a really good selection of colors for a 72 set. So we've gone over all the colors and you've seen what they come with, but for a 72 set, you get quite a bit of great colors to use for highlights and shadows and your midtones. And then they did blend together quite nicely. And I was able to get a really good blend, even transitioning from one color family to the other. And if I had to compare them to another pencil, as far as hardness, I would say they are very close to a polychromos. As far as the hardness of the lead, I mean, even after I sharpened them, I showed you earlier in the video that I was able to really push on this, and it is a pretty hard pencil. And they lay down a lot like that, being that they are an oil-based pencil. Of course, I'm not comparing them to a polychromos because polychromos are very high-end artist grade and they are light fast. And with budget-friendly pencils, we can never guarantee their light fastness, even though some of these budget sets do say on them that they are light fast. You cannot always guarantee that they are. So for those of you that would like to pick up a set of these for yourself, I will have the link down in the description box below, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.